Hello, everybody. Today is Wednesday, and I'm excited to talk to you about the topic of getting a life. Stop being a passenger in your life and letting it just go by without you having a care in the world. It is affecting your weight. It's affecting how you feel. Here is why. So the last couple of days, I've been on the phone with a few different clients and potential clients of mine. And one of the things that has come up again and again and again is that I keep hearing that I thought would be really important to talk about today is this notion that these women who I'm talking to feel like they are a passenger on their life train. I mean, it does not feel good when you are feeling like life is just happening and you have no control over it. Life is happening and you're just watching it go. So I want to talk today. Hi, Dee. So happy to have you. Hi, Kay. Happy to have you. So today I want to talk to you. Hi, Karen. I want to talk to you all about the fact that sometimes we need to look at our life and understand how weight loss is impacting our life and how food is impacting our life. So let's talk a little bit about getting a life. So I say this sometimes to clients, and I don't mean it in a rude way. I never mean this in a mean, rude way. But I think that a lot of weight loss is about getting a life. And here's what I mean by that. When food is your main joy in your life, then you're going to struggle with weight. It's when it is the only joy in your life, you're going to struggle with more weight. And so it's incredibly important to realize that your life has to be broadened. We have to get a life. We have to create a life that is so full, so rich, so beautiful, and gives you such joy in different areas. It doesn't have to be a lot of areas. It can be, that's great. But it has to be more than just food. Because when food is your main joy, then you eat breakfast, and then the only thing you're looking forward to is the next snack or the next meal. And then you eat that meal, and then the only thing you get excited about is the next meal and the next meal, right? So my concern here is that so many of you are living from meal to meal without much enjoyment in between. Without much enjoyment on the weekends, or food is the only enjoyment on the weekends. And that's problematic. It's a big problem. So we have to look at expanding out your life and your joys. So one of the things I want you to think about is, what do you look forward to? When you think about your day and you think about today. What are you looking forward to as you think about your day? Do you have events coming up that you're excited about? Or is it just relaxing, getting through the day so that you can lay on the couch, watch TV, relax, and eat? See, if that's the only excitement is getting through the day, we have to craft a different life experience for you. I don't want you to be the passenger of your life. I want you to be the driver of an incredible, juicy, delicious life. And one of my clients who shared this with me said, I realized I was this passenger of my life. I want to have a juicy life. I was like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean to step into having a juicy life, having a life that looks amazing? And she shared with me that she and her husband looked at the areas where they were procrastinating in their life. What a great conversation to have with a significant other. Where are we procrastinating in our life? Where are we holding ourselves back? Where are we not living into our potential? Where are we stopping ourselves? Beautiful question. Everybody should be asking this question of ourselves, of yourself. Where are you holding yourself back? Because then you have an opportunity to step forward. What she found was she was holding herself back in various areas. And one of the areas was how her house showed up, how her house looked. And so she started cleaning. And I always see a direct link between cleaning your exterior space with cleaning your interior life. In other words, a lot of times I see women who begin losing weight start to clean out their homes, because all of a sudden they start to feel better, or when they start to feel better here, they feel better there. There's a direct correlation. I have another client who just now said, I said, oh my God, we chat with one another. And I said, oh my God, your kitchen looks so incredible. She said, it usually doesn't. But she's just lost 19 pounds. And she's like, yeah, like things start showing up differently as you start cleaning up the internal junk that's going on in your head. You want to clear out the external junk that's going on in your life and in your space and in your home. So how can you stop being the passenger of your own life? Do you feel how many of you feel like you are connecting to what I'm saying? Hi, Roberta. Yeah. Yeah. It is not fun to be watching life go by and feel like the only joy or the main joy you have in your life is food, is getting to that next meal, of nurturing yourself. And what that tells me is that you are only nurturing yourself in one way, or one major way. And so expanding out how you nurture yourself, giving yourself more of what you actually need, which may be comfort, relaxation, more harmony, meditation, friend time, social time. You may need those things. It's like when I hear someone say that they can't wait to drink, or when they say the best thing about their day is going and having that drink so that they can relax and chill. What that tells me is there needs to be more relaxing and chilling. In the same way, we use food in that same way. I want to relax. I want to chill. You see in your mind, what's the thing that you look forward to the most? It has to be more than food. It has to be more than dinner. It has to be more than drinking. It has to be more than consuming in a physical sense. It's got to be about expanding who you are and what your life looks like. Because you're so much more than the joy of food. And you think about your young self, and you might want to write this down. When you think about being a kiddo, and you think about your life as a kiddo, what were the things that excited you? Hi, Lizzie. Happy to have you. What were the things that excited you most about being a kid? I'm telling you, it probably wasn't food. It probably was, and if it was one of the many things. It was going for a bike ride. It was spending time with your parents. For my kids, I can tell you, it's socializing, it's being active, it's moving their bodies. It's the more I can have them jumping and running around, the happier they are. At 9 and 8 years old, they're jumping, they're playing, they're joining forces to just be physical. They want to be socially connected to other people. Where does food play into my kids' life? Well, they like food. They enjoy food, just like the naturally thin, like the naturally skinny do. But it's not the forefront. It's in the background. Meals are when they're hungry. And so they are hanging out in that place. But they have all these other ways that they want to experience life and enjoy life. And food is one of the many, but it is not the main. So if you find yourself, and I grew up hearing this too. I had a dad who, both my parents are quite thin, but he would go from like, oh, we had breakfast. Okay, what are we going to do for lunch? And we had lunch. What are we going to do for dinner? Like, food was the social. Food was the fun. And I linked up in my brain, food, mealtime, fun, joyful, numbing out, a way to release my feelings, the way to, or numb out my feelings, I should say. That's how I experienced meals. And I would just kind of go from one to one to one. But it wasn't until I was like, okay, my life, if my body's going to change, I've got to change how I'm relating to food, how I'm experiencing food. It can't be my great joy, my only great joy. It's got to be, I got to open up to having more. And so I found things like, I love audios. I love listening to I'm cerebral. I've talked to you guys about that. I like to have my brain stimulated. So podcasts and trainings and classes and learning, that's all really, really important to me. I love refinishing furniture. I love decorating. I love spending time just being in that creative space. I love refinishing furniture. My husband and I like to, sometimes we'll demo stuff. There's lots of things that I love to do. And for those of you, you all should have your love list, the things in your life that you love doing, and be acting on those items on a regular basis. If you don't know what you love, your body's going to pay the price. If food is the only thing you love, your body's going to pay the price. And I want you to stop giving into the conversation in your head that says life is hard, work is difficult, food is my release. That is just a thought. You know that everything starts with your thought. Transforming your body is all about your thoughts and how your inner game is played out. It's all about that. So everything starts with a thought. And I hear from my clients and from my inner circle and from all of you, I hear you say things like, oh, my day was just so hard, so I had to eat. Or I just had no time. I have no time to focus on my body. Well, it doesn't have to be hard to focus on your body. All you have to do is focus on your hunger. The reason why you're turning to food is what we need to look at. That's what's creating weight gain, not your busyness, not your job. Your job doesn't create weight gain. It's how you perceive things at your job. It's how you perceive things at home. It's how you perceive the relationship or how you relate to your husband or kids or spouse or significant other. Your job does not create weight loss or create weight. It's your perception. What creates weight loss is changing your perception. So it's like, yeah, it was a really busy day and that was really stressful for me. And I'm going to go find a way to nurture myself because I'm feeling inside like I need a release. So I'm going to go to a workout class, or I'm going to write about it. I'm going to journal about how I feel. The other thing I noticed so many of you are doing is you're taking on your day and you're taking other people's stuff and you're making yourself responsible for it. So let's say somebody says to you at work something like, man, you really did a sucky job. Okay, let's just say that. And you take it on as you take it on as weight on your shoulders. You take it on to mean that you suck. Instead of that person might be having a bad day, or, oh, what's going on with that person that they needed to get that energy out of them? Or what's going on with that, my fellow employee who is really going through a lot right now and needs to handle their shit? Like, you don't have to take on all your own stuff. You don't have to take on your stuff, their stuff, your husband's stuff, your kid's stuff, and make it mean something about you. Because when you do that, the pressure, you start to become this pressure cooker, and then you explode by needing a release. And where do you release? You go to the kitchen. Watch how much ownership you're taking and making on, like you're taking on your shoulders. How much ownership are you taking of other people's responsibility and putting it on your own shoulders and making it mean something about you that has nothing to do with you? Right? Nothing to do with you. It's an interesting perspective to look at because I'm always wanting to find where you're psychologically, mentally taking on information that you shouldn't be taking on that then gets to be put on your body. What's your inner game around your weight and your life? And where are you putting it on yourself versus leaving it at the door, letting somebody else deal with it? Watch your inner game, everybody, your inner game. And I say this a bazillion times, but watch your thoughts. When I say inner game, what I'm specifically talking about is watch your thinking. Is your thinking supporting you to lose weight, or are your thoughts making it more difficult for you to slim down? Because if your thoughts, if you're taking everybody else's junk and putting it on your shoulders, it's like literal weight of the world. And that energy, you feel it, right? You feel those days where you have everybody's stuff on your shoulders. But do you have a good way to release that? Do you have a good way to navigate and move through that energy? Or do you keep it on your shoulders and it sits there and it sits there and you try to push it down with food? Or you try to push it down with a drink? Or you try to push it down using a substance? Versus, wouldn't it be amazing if you could journal, or if you could write, or if you could talk through it, ask for help, come into the inner circle, share? That's where healing of weight comes from. It comes from looking at, like, food is food is food, okay? Food is food. It's how we use food that's the problem. It's how you're using food that's creating frustrations for your life and your body. And what you're thinking and connecting food with, that's creating weight. And you've got to stop doing that. Stop being a passenger of your own life, watching your weight start to creep up, or watching your life creep up and not doing anything about it. It's time to change. I've definitely been there where I've just kind of been like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? Am I making a big enough difference? And I've hung out in that negative space. And then there's also been times like now where I'm just like, my job is to make a difference for all of you. Plain simple. That's my job. That's my work in this world, is to have you look at your thinking, look at how you're relating to food, and make massive changes, because that's what will get you lifelong weight loss results. Hands down, I have no qualms about it. I know it. You can go on keto, you can go on any program you want, but if you don't change the inner relationship you're having with your head and your life and your spouse and showing up accordingly, you're going to keep struggling. So watch that inner game. Watch how you're speaking to yourself, okay? So I want to take some time. Hi, Andrea. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Miss Katie. No problem that you're late. I'm so happy that you are here. We've got such great people on. Let me also check the phone. Miss K, I'm so happy you're here. Okay, so now let's look at me answer. I want to answer your questions. I want you to think about a few things. For those of you who are in my inner circle, some of the things that we're doing right now is we're stepping out of our comfort zone. And any of you who are not in the inner circle, that's totally fine. What I want you to think about is I want you to think about how you can step out of your comfort zone. But what I want to hear from all of you is if there's a block that you're having in stepping out of your comfort zone and into the life that you really, really, really want to have. I'd also love to hear anything around your inner dialogue, or how you're showing up just as a passenger in your life, and how you're inspired to shift that, or if you need help around shifting it. So let me look here at questions. Okay, so Karen, I kind of want to start. I'm going to go through this here. Lizzie, awesome. I'm glad you connect to this. Um, yes, like when you were a kid, you were bike riding, bumblebees, tree climbing. Yes. It's amazing how, as we get older, we stop playing. We stop playing. And almost one of the best things we can do as adults is play. That's one of the joys of having kids is playing. But then also if you struggle with your weight or you struggle, then it's, or you feel like you have all these responsibilities, then all of a sudden we stop playing. We get so in our head instead of in our bodies. And if we can just go into our bodies a little bit and play, it's so fun. Food has a tendency to make you feel separate from life. Binges are usually done in secret. We all need a sense of belonging, and use food to get that sense of belonging actually has the opposite effect on me. When I think of being a kid, it was being with others, playing, laughing. Food was not part of that sense of belonging. Yeah, so how could you get that sense of belonging back, Karen, where in that childlike form, in that childlike way of being? It's beautifully written. Because food can have a tendency to make you feel separate from life, especially if you binge, right? Or especially if you have a frustrating relationship with food, or a disordered relationship with food, or a sneak eating relationship, or an overeating, or you've created all this meaning, right? Where food is just food. We've attached a lot to it. We've done stuff with it that we're proud of, not proud of. But food itself is just food. It's just sitting there on a table or in the fridge. It's just food. So I want you to think about, how do you want to be with food? How can we make that less separate and more vibrant? Like, one of the things that I did long ago, I was like, you know what? In my marriage, I'm eating what I'm eating, and anybody can see it. There was no sneak eating, no gonna just hide from the world about it, because I was like, I am who I am, and this is how I'm showing up with food. And if it may look like sometimes I'm overeating, you're right, sometimes I am. And if it looks like I'm eating some candy here at 9:00 at night, I am. I just didn't want to have that energy. I didn't want to give power to food when food is just, remember, it's just food. I didn't want to bring more energy into my sneak eating or into my binging. I wanted to just put it all out there, that here it is, here's what I do. And so one of the things might be, Karen, is to look at, and this is for all of you, looking at how can you just put food out there? It's just food. And how do you decrease the energy that you have in relationship to food, so that you don't feel like you have to sneak, that you can be okay having a candy bar in front of your family? Like, what do you make that mean? That's the thing. It's that you need to get in front of, and I'm not saying you, Karen, I'm just saying everybody. If you sneak eat and you then have a conversation, when I tell you, oh, well, just have that in front of everybody. Have that in front of your family. Have that in front of your friends. There will then be a conversation that in your head that you're having right now about that. Oh God, no, I can't do that. Or my husband might say this, or this might happen, or this, right? We get into that conversation. Well, that's the thing that you need to work through. And you can work with me about that, inner circle about that. You can work through that. That's the work. Because everybody deserves to belong. And food in and of itself is a joining force, but it's not food that's making us belong or making us feel isolated. It's our inner dialogue. It's our thoughts about food. Okay, so I hope that's clear to many of you. We planned most of our Disney World trip around where we would have meals. Yeah, it's okay, Dee. Like, that's what many people do. So, but you can think about it from a different vantage point. What if you planned your vacations around where you wanted to go see and do and experience, And then as a very last thing, just planned a few meals. But I understand with Disney, because if you want to do the Disney princess or you want to eat at Star Wars, there's some of that, right? There's some of that planning that does take place. What you want to look at is that where the majority of your energy is spent, or is that the minority? And I want you to just notice, because you'll know by looking at your vacation, if you're spending most of the time here in thinking about food, I just want you to again, we're just lessening it, getting more enjoyment from other parts of your Disney vacation trip. Okay, because it's easy to do that. It's easy to go, okay, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? I have to work on this. And we all have to work on this, because when food is our main thing that we're attracted to, it's our main thing we're attracted to. And so I have to constantly say to myself, like when I'm looking at a thing like a vacation, okay, I don't want my whole vacation to just be about meals. I want it to be about the experiences. And so I look at, how do we create different experiences? Like we're going to go to Hawaii, and I'm looking at, okay, can we go surfing? Can we go see little turtles? Can we, what experiences can I do? And as a second, does the place have a fridge so that we can, if we need to, we can have breakfast at home, and I can make eggs, and I can make turkey bacon or whatever. I can make some things that work for my body and work for my kids, right? Secondarily, we'll do that, not primarily. Okay, so just a different perspective of, let's just shift that a little bit. Thanks for saying great material, Lizzie. Good, I'm glad you're doing better with it. Hi, Miss Karen. Love having you. We've got Karen S and Karen W. You're noticing a strong connection to perfectionism, hiding my overeating, looking at just putting out there, being authentic and not being ashamed. It's part of my next step. Yes. Oh, I love this, Karen. Perfectionism is huge when it comes to weight in our bodies. We see it on the one side where you could be like anorexic and you can be not eating. And then you can be where you're having lots and lots of food. It's everywhere in between. There's no such, so I don't get perfectionistic thinking, because I don't think like that. But because I just get that there's no such thing as perfect. You're you, I'm me. That's actually what makes us amazing, is that I have flaws, you have flaws, we all have flaws. We're learning from each other's flaws. We're learning from our strengths, right? We're just human beings having a human experience. And so this notion of being perfect, I don't understand. Now, I do get achievement, like wanting to achieve at a high level and pushing ourselves mentally and physically and emotionally. Like I get that, because I can understand that. So I would look at, Karen, what would it look like to just putting it all out there and knowing you're amazing and it's okay? And then the work for you, Karen, is going to be about, when you do put it out there, let's say you are going to eat in front of your family in a way where you would have snuck eat before. What I would encourage you to do, what's going to happen are these thoughts, right? Because it's like, oh, I need to hide. Oh, should I do this? This is bad. I'm bad. Oh, let those thoughts, let them go. Let them kind of have their little party and let them go. And then have a bite. Put the whatever you would eat down. We want to reduce the energy of the eat, sneak, that feeling. There's something exciting about it, and we get addicted to it, but it's not powerful for you to do it anymore. So put it down, lessen that conversation, and you're just going to keep doing that. You're going to have a couple bites, and then you're going to just lessen the energy. You're going to let that conversation, that inner dialogue, that self-talk have its little party. But by not eating really fast, you're not giving into that frenetic energy. You're going to allow that energy to kind of move through you, and you're going to see it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's perfect. It's fine. And all of a sudden, this sneaky part of you will become the real part of you, the part of you that sometimes can have some sugar, that can have a bowl of chips, that can have whatever you want to eat, that doesn't have to feel like you have to be perfect and you can't ever eat anything because nobody, I mean, do you think anybody expects you to only have certain foods and you can't ever eat anything else? You deserve to be human. You deserve to be human. And then if it is a conversation, so some of you have partners who are super, super, super healthy. And they may go, well, should you eat that? I don't know. And you go, damn right, I should be eating that. Yes. You don't have to play into their antics. You don't have to give in to what other people are saying or feeling or thinking. You can hold your space for your power and say, this looked good right now. I ate really healthy. And this looked really good. And I'm going to sit here and have it and enjoy it. And enjoy the shit out of it. Enjoy every morsel of that. Okay? Because you deserve it. I'm going out of my comfort zone to travel to a beautiful natural area to give a speech. Feel good about it. And now my manic relative in-law has invited herself. She wants to make it about her and eating. Well, Lizzie, you have an opportunity to say no to her inviting herself. One, you don't have to say, yeah, come on, join me. Even if she says, I'm going to join you, you can say no. That's a boundary issue. Like, you know what? This is really important. I'm very nervous about this, or I'm feeling this way about it. And I'd really like to just do this on my own for this first one. And why don't we find a time that would work for us at a different time? You could always set that boundary. So one, you can set the boundary. Don't let your inner game tell you you can't. Of course you can. You don't have to allow her to come with you. That's one. But let's say you're like, okay, she's coming with, this is going to happen. I'm okay with it. Then the second part of that is planning your vacation around or your trip around eating. You don't have to do it. You can tell her, hey, listen, I just listen to my body when I'm hungry. And so why don't we just be a little bit more organic? And you know, when we both get hungry, we'll find a great place to eat. Now you can plan 1 or 2 meals. And then let's say I'm going out on vacation and we have 2 dinners planned. And I will make sure I'm hungry for those dinners. So if it's like, I'll try my best. And I better bet that like, if dinner reservations are at 7:00 and it's 5:00, I'm not going to have very much. I'll have a few bites to take the edge off, maybe, depending on how hungry I am. And then I'll be hungry for that dinner. So you can always do that. But I really want to make sure that you don't allow her, or you don't allow being with her to self-sabotage your needs, your desires, who you want to be, and how you want to show up. Not okay. Not okay. Okay, so Lizzie, the Mickey Mouse cereal was a big hit with me, I admit. But dancing with candelabras. Oh, I love that. Good. I'm glad. Dancing. Okay. Let me see if there are any other questions. Yes, I set boundaries. This class must be changing my brain. Yeah, I'm glad. Of the energy around planning for food and meals could be used for activities. Oh, if the energy around planning for food and meals could be used for activities. Yes, Karen, I love that. If you can spend some of this energy. Now, listen, food is still something I love. I'll always love. It is something you'll love. You'll always love it. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when it's everything. And if we could use some of that energy for, when we plan for food, plan meals, just in our day-to-day life. If on the weekends, for example, if most of your plans are like, okay, what are we going to do for lunch? What are we going to do for breakfast? What are we going to do for dinner? I can very easily get caught up in that. It's easy to get caught up in that cycle. So it's about expanding out. Now I have a daughter in my life who is this most social human being ever. And so she'll say, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? And although it stresses me out, it also is helpful for me because I'll think about other things that I can do with her, or what that we can come up with. Or I'll say, figure it out yourself, you can entertain yourself. But it expands out my thinking of the weekend. I really, really like the idea of you all thinking more. Just notice your thoughts as it relates to your life. And if your life is from one meal to the next, or if your main joy for your life is food, you have to expand out that joy. You have to do it. It has to happen. I couldn't be the yes girl for meals every single, to everybody and lose weight. There was no way. Now I'm the yes girl for walks. Yes, I'll go get coffee sometimes with those walks, but I'm not going for a huge meal anymore. So that's a huge change. I'm a yes girl to, yoga. I just did Orange Theory yesterday. Thank you all very much. High five, everybody who supported me in the inner circle. I want to be a yes girl to, I like going on hikes. I like going, for bike rides. I like all of that. I also just like sitting around and watching TV and reading. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I like sipping on tea. The problem I had is when I would attach all of that with food. When my whole day, it's not okay if I'm here thinking about food for tonight. I want to be present to you. I want to be in love with all of you. You want me to be that way for you. The people around you want you to be in the moment with them, not worried about food later, or not having that be the highlight of your day. You're my highlight of my day. That's where you should be in my life. That's what's important to me right now. And so I just had to keep putting food in perspective. Like if I found myself thinking more about it than I thought was normal or healthy, then I would just say, okay, Marna, what else can you do to take care of yourself? Good question. Everybody should write that down. What else can you do today to take care of yourself? Because that's the real question. And if that means, okay, Marna, you worked 15 hours today, you need to get out and go shop, go to the grocery store, go do things for, you've got a whole list of things you got to get done for your kids and all you want to do is work. Okay, I know you love your work, but you also need to balance this out a little bit. You need to look at other things, right? So it's looking at what else can I do for myself. Maybe a pedicure, maybe a manicure, maybe a massage, maybe go work out, maybe go over to my sister's across the street and go say hi, right? Those are ways that I can nurture and take care of myself. So please make sure you have those ways. Yeah, the walks are amazing. My friend Kelly, we walk on Saturdays, sometimes Sundays. I mean, we were laughing so hard the other day because it was snowing on us and we looked like little, I think I even said in the inner circle, I didn't think I was going to go for a walk. Well, we did. And we were like in our little snow outfits and we were cracking up laughing. She took video of it. I did not. It would be funny to show you guys. But I love being with her so much that we are willing to walk in 14 degree, 13 degree weather in our big old boots with hats and tons of layers because we love each other and we love the connection. It's so important to us. You know what it is? It's my friendship connection. It's my friend time that I really, really need and I love, and I just happen to associate it with walking. So what else? What other questions? Kay, feel free to hit *2 if you have a question for me. I'm happy to answer your question, or anybody else in the room, over the phone. Any other questions? Are you feeling like you have good direction for the week? You feeling like you know what you're doing? I just did a big rant. If you are not part of my podcast, if you don't subscribe. I just did a big rant and cried a little bit on my podcast where I just talked about a realization of how I was putting my kids and their lack of quality food and their desire for that, how I was putting it in my body and how I was sick of that and how I was noticing how it wasn't their fault that I was doing it. I could easily blame my kids. Well, my kids don't like to eat all this crap or whatever, or only like to eat all this junk, or they only like 5 things in their life. But that's not what I want. So if you listen to that podcast, if you need a little inspiration, if you're feeling like you're having a struggle bug for a moment, Thin Within podcast, simple name, Thin Within podcast with Marna. Go there, you'll find it. It's a good one if you feel like you have husbands or partners or loved ones or kids, and you tend to, well, here's the funny thing about that. So if y'all listen to that podcast, here's what's funny about that. So last night, so I created this podcast. I knew exactly what we were going to have for dinner. I'm all set. Guess who comes home? My husband comes home and says, well, Hayden and we're thinking maybe we should go to a school event thing at this restaurant. Not perfect example of me going, okay, I'll do whatever you want and eat whatever you want. So guess what I said? I said, go enjoy, take him out, take her out. I didn't want that heaviness of a meal. I had my mind on a nice light little salad that was going to be good for my tummy and my digestion. And I said, have at it. So it's amazing how it just like shows up. Like when you declare what you're going to be and how you're going to show up around your relationship with food and your kids and whatnot, and how I'm not going to let them take me out of my game. There was a great opportunity about 3 hours after I did my podcast of my husband coming home being like, hey, what do you think? Should we go out to dinner? And I was like, you guys go. Enjoy. Love that. Thank you for taking them. That's amazing. Enjoy that meal. Because I wanted to take a stand for myself and my body. Now I could have gone to the restaurant and eaten salad, but I really just didn't want to. I didn't want to be in that environment. I was concerned that I just didn't want to have that food. Just didn't. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, do so. Any other questions that you all have that I can support you with? Everybody's feeling good? All right. If you need me, for those of you in the inner circle, you know you can grab me. For those of you who are part of my Thin Within community, by golly gee, you need to get your name on the wait list for the next 30-day challenge, which is going to be, I thought it was going to be in March. It is not. It is not. It is going to be in April. It's going to be April 6th, Monday, April 6th. Here's what I thought. I thought, you know what? Let me give y'all time to get through spring break, because I didn't want to do it at the beginning of March and then everybody would be gone for spring break and miss the end of everything. So I'm going to do it in April, first week in April. We're going to get started. Many of the people on here went through it. They can tell you how awesome it is. It's awesome. And so I already am hearing from people saying, I had somebody yesterday who already signed up. I'm like, wait, you can't sign up yet. You got to wait. You got to wait till the doors open. So it's going to happen in April. I'm excited to do another 30-day challenge with all of you. For those of you who have gone through it again, you get 50% off if you want to do it again. Totally up to you. Big hugs. I want all of you stepping out of your comfort zone. That's what this week is all about. Step out of your comfort zone. Pay attention if you are a passenger in your life and where you can step it up. Stop just watching life go by. It is a crappy feeling. Start being a game player. Start being the person that's making things happen. Stop making excuses like work is hard. Stop making excuses why you're turning to food besides hunger. And look at that. Like if you have those excuses, that's totally fine. But now then look at it. Do the inner work you need to do to look at what are you making that mean. It is not about work. Your weight issues are not about work or anything else. It's about your mind. So get hold of your mind, work with your mind, and you will be losing weight. All right, everybody, have an amazing rest of your day. Big hugs. Love ya. Bye.